Hey everybody, it's me, RyanTanguma, and this is a tutorial request from a user on YouTube whose username is Cecilio Sylvester, and they wanted me to make a video showing how to make a stick figure how to turn a stick figure into a character model with anatomy in Flash. So this is that tutorial. Hopefully Google doesn't give me any copyright issues just because of somebody's username. I'm thinking they did that on the last tutorial request. Google's really messing YouTube up right now. Well, they've always been, but they're getting worse, I think. So right now I'm just making the basic stick figure. Very simplified legs and arms and all that. So there's my stick figure. Select all and scale it down. Just so that it can fit on stage. Make a little bit more alignment. And there we go. So, first I'm going to convert it into a symbol. And this, no, that didn't seem right. That's what's going on. Okay, there we go. So select all. Now the person wanted the tutorial to show how to turn the stick figure into either a male or a female. So for right now I'm going with sticky male. Then I'm going to hold Alt Shift and drag this over. Right click and press duplicate symbol. And then just rename the duplicate female. Now, the main reason why is so that if I have to start over, you want to initially have the initial model. That way if you screw up in male or female, instead of pressing Command Z or Control Z, you can just drag the original out. So I'm going to start with editing the stick figure. First starting with the male, since they're easier. Mainly for making a stick figure into a character model with dimensions, you just add extra sticks on the outside of the original sticks. And since it's Flash, you only have to do half. Majority of it right now is just alignment and just minor tweaking of the paths and lines. Take this, that, and unlock all the layers real quick. And just do minor tweaking. Now for the legs, you can either extrude this out and go from here, or you can just do the minor tweaking right here. and select that. Well, first you need to have the median point. And that way, when you press paste in place, you can have the initial middle area and drag it over. And the character model will essentially look like this. But then remove there. Yep. Yep. Here. I'm gonna have to intersect these lines real quick. There we go. That's proportional. Now, again, after that, it's still just minor tweaking. For instance, the neck looks really thin. Snap the character's neck in half really quickly. Okay, so now we have the basic stick figure. Except we got to edit this part. There we go. Now essentially all you do is remove the middle stick areas, and now you have your bubble figure. More minor tweaking since it still looks very thin. It's gonna look pretty thin because your initial model was only a stick. Not gonna be very good. This can only get you so far until you start needing to figure out how to animate using actual anatomy. Or it doesn't have to be realistic, just anatomy. So what I'm doing right now is just editing areas a bit. Of course, if you want to make it more simplified, you don't have to do this at all. There we go. Move this up. Bring the other side up a little more too. I hate when lines do that. There we go. And now, stick figure. Now what you can do then is just merge everything together. Do a little more minor tweaking. And essentially right now, you have your male bubble figure. So after this, it mainly depends on what you want to try doing. Like, depending on the anatomy of your character. And clothes, no clothes, muscles, no muscles. A lot of variables play out into the design of the character. But for now, we'll keep it simple. For a short, if you want to use the basic model and just add lines, you can do that. Or you can copy the model, add extra lines, paste in place, and right here, add a line This line will be for the shirt. And about right here, separate everything. And right here, add the collar of the shirt. Then remove the neck, since there's already a neck under it. Select all. And now it's just minor scaling on the outside. Then hold Command and Shift or Control and Shift, and you can shear stuff. And after that, color the shirt in. See what the issue is, because okay, that's the issue. It's just an alpha right now. Okay, there we go. Now we already got the shirt. Now for the pants. Take the character model again. Hide the shirt and the character model. Paste in place. There we go. Now again, this is only for stick figure alterations. I have a video that shows how to make character models just from scratch, but this specific request was just for showing how to make stick figures turn into stuff like this. So then after that, select all again, and it'll select the pants. Command or Control and Shift, and shear the top up a little. After that, you can choose whether or not to straighten the legs out or whatnot. Next will be the main body. For this, you can just use a color like FCC99. I use this or Fed 8B4, depending on if you want it lighter or darker. I'll give a comparison. If the color will even work. There must be a division lines or a break in the line somewhere. Probably around the arm area. Boy. The neck. There we go. Okay, now you can kind of see the difference, but if you remove the line, you can clearly see the difference. So mainly it just depends on if you want your character to have lighter or darker skin tone. I'll just give it a lighter skin tone for now. And now it's on to altering the shape of the head. because right now the head seems kind of large for the body. Luckily for us, all you gotta do is double click and it'll select the head and the circle, and well, the head and the lines, and just take this, bring it up, and do that on layer 2 or whatever. Have the head there. Just straighten this out a little. Then you can just double click the head and scale it. And now it looks better. Now for the hands, it all depends on what kind of hands you want. You can either just make them a ball, or very simple ball-shaped hands. Not really sure what people would be able to do with this. Be weird boxing matches. Just in place. Or no. I'll just give the indication of a thumb. It looks like a curled up fist or whatever. Now do the same thing. Move the line to where it's connected to the shirt, and the fist will be in the same place, only inverted. Again, this is not even perfect. I'm not worried about being perfect right now. Now for the hair. You can have whatever you want for the hair. I have very simple hair. One of the main focuses is whether or not you want everything to be simple or not. If you want it simple, one of the easiest ways to make it simple is to have symmetrical hair. That way you don't have to worry about poses. And if you want to have a left and right side view, the hair's symmetrical, so you can use the same character models on the left and right side views, as well as the 3/4 views. And there we go. Now, just color in the hair. This and that. And after that, it's like you want to fit on the head more, shear it out, whatever. Either or works. After that, facial features. Give them eyes, nose, mouth. Since I'm going for a very simple thing, I'll give them the most simple eyes and nose and mouths of all. Noses are generally simple to begin with, but eyes, you can either get very complicated or just have very simplified eyes. This in place, scale down, and color in the iris with iris gets colored in. Scale this down because this is actually going to be the pupil. Now again, this is if you want it to at least have a pupil. You could just have this and have the iris as the whole thing. I'll just make it very simple. Now the character models can look a little creepy, like they're staring into your soul. They're gonna eat you and your little babies. And it's like, if you still find the head shape weird, you can just double click again, bring it in. Mainly right now it's just a whole bunch of mix and match. Now you can make the character have more of a, depending on how you want it, you can have the character model have a content look, which is generally having half the eye or what part of the eye closed. Now they look bored. Give them an eyebrow. Then you select the eye and the nose. Flip it over and do this. And after that, if the eyes and everything look too close, you can just move them away. And there you go. There's your male character. Very, very simple male character. Oddly enough, halfway that looks like a female, but oh well. Now for the female model, it's essentially the same, so you can either do it by scratch, or if you want to try to take the character and just make a female version of them, you duplicate symbol and then again rename it sticky female or whatever. And then essentially now, since this doesn't have a lot of well, really any anatomy, it mainly skips over a lot of what females are generally stereotyped with the whole curvature of the body and everything. But kind of give it a more feminine approach. Take the shirt, cut it where you could imagine the hips to be, and then bring this down a little. Or you don't even have to bring it down, just bring it out. Realign the shirt. Just give it a little curve at the end. This can indicate the hips. Again, this is all stereotype though. Not all girls will have really indications of hips or whatever. But Take this line, divide this shirt in half. Forgot I moved that line just now, so I have to go back to the medium point of the pants. Now before that, there's the chest of the female. Now, depending on how you draw chests and whatever. Some people just draw circles. Mainly it's like you go and see how it looks. This is one thing my friend actually showed me, is that one thing I was doing wrong was I kept making it look like the shirt was skin tight onto the female's chest, when generally certain shirts are loose fabric. So there's a big difference when you want to show a loose or a tight fabric. Tight fabrics generally conform to the female's chest's curvature, while loose shirts, I generally like using gradients for this because it shows where the shirt is going back into itself. The black line represents the shirt being levitated off the other part of the shirt. The light and the clear gradient part will show it fusing back to the shirts, well, on the surface. Only issue with that is once you use a gradient, you can't double click and select that as well unless you're selecting a fill. This is because the gradient is now isolated just because it's not the same color. So here's that at the chest. Again, this is not even close. This is just pretty bland, actually. There's the head. You can select it. It looks a little high, so you can just go here, select all. And depending on how you want to do it, if you just press down, you don't go too far. But if you hold shift and hold down and press down, you can actually skip quite a bit of distance. But there you go. Essentially, male and female forms of the same character. Oh yeah, one more thing, since I was about to end the tutorial, and I forgot I did the whole section on the hips. You can just essentially do this. If I remember right, I think the female, where the legs and torso meet, are a little higher than the males. So just have that and control to scene. And drag it out. If you show all, and there you go. Male and female character model. Again, this is just like, since it's all stick figure, there's not going to be too much anatomy unless you go into anatomy. There's not really going to be much more else you can actually do on male and female character models, because you start out with a stick which has no anatomy whatsoever. So it's mainly up to you on whether or not you want to give anatomy to them or not. This was just a very simple explanation on how to make male and females out of stick figures. But aside from that, I hope you found this tutorial useful. And if you did, please subscribe and comment below on if you want another tutorial for me. I will see you guys later, and ciao mata.